The relentless hum of modern life often leaves us feeling depleted, a constant knot of tension tightening in our chests. This is the reality for so many women navigating burnout and anxiety, a silent epidemic that steals joy and energy. Imagine a world where the familiar feeling of overwhelm begins to recede, replaced by a gentle calm. We'll journey from the suffocating grip of chronic stress to the refreshing embrace of natural, accessible solutions. Through vivid visuals of nature's restorative power and intimate glimpses into everyday life, this video will guide viewers toward reclaiming their peace. Discover simple, yet profound, home-based strategies that can transform exhaustion into resilience and anxiety into mindful presence. It's time to move beyond just coping and step into a space of sustainable well-being, finding inner strength in the familiar comforts of home. This isn't about a quick fix or a fleeting trend. It's about understanding the deep-seated impact of our fast-paced world on the female nervous system and uncovering practical, sustainable pathways back to equilibrium. We've all felt it, that creeping exhaustion that sleep doesn't quite seem to touch, the persistent worry that buzzes in the background of our thoughts, making it hard to focus, to connect, to simply be. For women, this experience is often amplified by a complex interplay of societal expectations, biological rhythms, and the relentless demands of juggling multiple roles. The pressure to be everything to everyone, to excel in careers, nurture families, and maintain social connections, can create a perfect storm for chronic stress and anxiety. It's a pervasive issue, often normalized to the point where we question if this is simply how it is now, a badge of honor in a hyperproductive society. But what if it doesn't have to be this way? What if the very spaces we inhabit, the resources we often overlook, hold the keys to profound healing and resilience? Our journey begins by acknowledging the pervasive nature of this challenge. It's easy to feel alone when battling these internal storms, but understanding that this is a shared experience, a collective whisper of exhaustion, is the first step towards empowerment. We are not designed for this constant state of high alert, this perpetual rush. Our bodies and minds crave balance, periods of rest, and reconnection with fundamental rhythms. This video aims to illuminate the path towards that balance, not through arduous journeys to faraway retreats or expensive interventions, but by tapping into the inherent power of our immediate environment and the simple, yet potent practices that can be woven into the fabric of our daily lives. We will explore how the natural world, even in its most accessible forms, can act as a powerful antidote to the artificial stresses of modern living. We will also delve into the subtle, yet significant, ways our homes can be transformed from potential sources of overwhelm into sanctuaries of calm and restoration. The narrative will unfold by first establishing the undeniable connection between our environment, our internal state, and our overall well-being. We'll look beyond the superficial symptoms of stress and anxiety to understand their roots in the demands placed upon us and the ways our bodies respond. This isn't about assigning blame. It's about recognizing patterns and developing a deeper, more compassionate understanding of ourselves. The goal is to move from a place of feeling overwhelmed and reactive to one of proactive, mindful engagement with our lives. This exploration is designed to be both informative and inspiring, offering tangible strategies that resonate with the lived experiences of women everywhere. We will be looking for the quiet strength that already exists within, waiting to be rediscovered and nurtured. This is an invitation to slow down, to listen to our bodies, and to harness the gentle power of nature and home to cultivate a more peaceful and resilient existence. The core of our exploration will be rooted in the understanding that well-being is not a destination, but a continuous practice, a dance between embracing challenges and actively seeking moments of replenishment. We will begin to unpack how the relentless pace of our world has subtly eroded our innate ability to self-regulate, leading to the widespread experience of burnout and anxiety. This is a critical juncture where many women find themselves, caught between the demands of their lives and a yearning for inner peace. The question then becomes, how do we bridge this gap? How do we reclaim our energy, our focus, and our joy in a world that seems determined to drain us? The answer, as we will discover, lies not in escaping our reality, but in transforming our relationship with it, starting with the immediate resources available to us. This is the moment to shift our perspective from feeling like victims of circumstance to becoming architects of our own well-being. The journey ahead is one of rediscovery, of uncovering the profound impact that small, intentional changes can have on our overall health and happiness. we will move beyond the generic advice and delve into the specific ways that women can navigate the unique pressures they face, finding solace and strength in unexpected places. The hum of modern life may be relentless, but the quiet power of nature and the sanctuary of home offer a potent countermelody, a path towards a more balanced, resilient, and joyful existence. The intricate tapestry of female physiology offers a unique lens through which to understand the pervasive nature of burnout and anxiety. Beyond the societal pressures and daily stressors, our hormonal fluctuations play a significant, often underestimated, role in our susceptibility to and experience of these conditions. Consider the cyclical nature of a woman's reproductive cycle. Each month, a complex interplay of estrogen, progesterone, and other hormones orchestrates a symphony within the body, influencing not only physical health but also mood, energy levels, and cognitive function. For many, these hormonal shifts can manifest as heightened emotional sensitivity, increased fatigue, or a greater tendency towards worry, particularly during specific phases of the cycle. This is not a sign of weakness, but rather a biological reality that requires understanding and adaptive coping strategies. When confronted with chronic external stressors, this inherent hormonal sensitivity can be exacerbated, tipping the scales from manageable fluctuations to debilitating anxiety and profound exhaustion. Consequently, a truly holistic approach to well-being must acknowledge and integrate these internal biological rhythms, rather than attempting to suppress or ignore them. Furthermore, the persistent state of fight or flight, the sympathetic nervous system's response to perceived threats, is a key mechanism at play in chronic stress. While this system is designed for short-term emergencies, its prolonged activation in modern life, triggered by everything from demanding work deadlines to traffic jams, leads to a state of constant hypervigilance. This continuous physiological arousal depletes vital resources, impairs cognitive function, and can manifest as persistent anxiety, irritability, and a feeling of being perpetually on edge. For women, this is often compounded by a tendency to internalize stress, leading to a silent buildup of tension that can eventually erupt as overwhelming emotional distress or physical exhaustion. Consequently, actively engaging the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's rest and digest counterpart, becomes paramount. This involves consciously initiating activities that signal safety and relaxation to the brain, thereby counteracting the detrimental effects of chronic sympathetic activation. Building on this, the concept of allostatic load provides a crucial framework for understanding the cumulative wear and tear on the body due to prolonged exposure to stress. Think of it like a battery that is constantly being drained without adequate time to recharge. Over time, this depletion can lead to a breakdown in various bodily systems, increasing vulnerability to a range of physical and mental health issues, including burnout and anxiety. For women, who often shoulder significant caregiving responsibilities and navigate demanding professional lives, this allostatic load can accumulate at an accelerated rate. Consequently, proactively managing this load through targeted self-care practices is not a luxury, but a necessity for sustained well-being. It's about recognizing the signs of overload early and implementing strategies to restore balance before significant damage occurs. Conversely, the impact of inflammation on mental health cannot be overstated. Chronic stress is a potent driver of inflammation throughout the body, and this inflammatory response has been increasingly linked to the development and exacerbation of anxiety disorders and depressive symptoms. The intricate connection between the gut microbiome and brain health further complicates this picture. An imbalanced gut can contribute to increased inflammation and negatively affect neurotransmitter production, impacting mood and emotional regulation. Consequently, adopting an anti-inflammatory lifestyle, which often includes dietary adjustments and stress reduction techniques, can be a powerful tool in mitigating both physical and psychological distress. It's about addressing the root causes of imbalance, fostering a healthier internal environment that is more resilient to the pressures of modern life. Another crucial layer to consider is the profound impact of social connection and support systems on resilience. While modern life often encourages a sense of individual achievement, genuine human connection serves as a vital buffer against stress and anxiety. Feeling seen, heard, and understood by others can significantly mitigate the psychological burden of overwhelm. Conversely, isolation and a lack of perceived support can amplify feelings of helplessness and exacerbate burnout. Consequently, Actively cultivating and nurturing meaningful relationships, whether with family, friends, or community groups, is an essential, though often overlooked, component of mental and emotional well-being. It's about recognizing that our strength is often found not in solitary endurance, but in shared experience and mutual support. This fosters a sense of belonging and reduces the perceived isolation that can fuel anxiety. Finally, the role of sleep in both preventing and recovering from burnout and anxiety is foundational. During sleep, the brain consolidates memories, processes emotions, and repairs itself. Chronic sleep deprivation, however, disrupts these vital processes, leading to impaired cognitive function, heightened emotional reactivity, and an increased susceptibility to stress. For women, hormonal fluctuations can sometimes interfere with sleep quality, creating a vicious cycle where poor sleep exacerbates stress, and stress further disrupts sleep. Consequently, prioritizing consistent, quality sleep is a non-negotiable aspect of building resilience. It's about understanding that restful nights are not a passive indulgence, but an active investment in our capacity to navigate the demands of our days with greater ease and clarity. This foundational element underpins our ability to engage with all other well-being strategies effectively. The subtle yet profound impact of our immediate surroundings on our mental state is often overlooked. Consider the concept of environmental psychology, which explores how our physical spaces influence our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Even within the confines of our homes, elements like natural light, color palettes, and the presence of clutter can significantly affect our stress levels and overall mood. For instance, a room bathed in warm, natural light can promote feelings of calm and well-being, whereas a dimly lit or perpetually cluttered space can inadvertently contribute to feelings of overwhelm and anxiety. The arrangement of furniture, the textures of fabrics, and even the subtle scent profiles present in a room can all contribute to an atmosphere of either restoration or agitation. Now, think about how a simple shift, like decluttering a specific area that often triggers stress, or strategically placing a plant by a window to maximize natural light, can begin to reframe your home as a haven rather than a source of subliminal pressure. This isn't about grand renovations. It's about mindful adjustments to your immediate sensory environment. Furthermore, the integration of nature-derived elements into our living spaces, often referred to as biophilic design, offers a powerful antidote to the artificiality of modern life. This goes beyond simply bringing a potted plant into a room. It involves understanding the innate human need to connect with the natural world and consciously incorporating elements that mimic natural patterns, processes, and forms. Think about the soothing effect of watching gentle water flow, the calming rhythm of natural wood grain, or the visual appeal of organic shapes. Even incorporating images or artwork that depict natural landscapes can evoke a sense of peace and reduce physiological markers of stress. Consider how the mere presence of a framed photograph of a serene forest scene can transport you, even momentarily, away from the confines of your immediate surroundings and offer a mental respite. This connection taps into a deep-seated evolutionary preference for natural environments, promoting feelings of safety and tranquility. The concept of sensory regulation also plays a critical role in managing anxiety and burnout within the home environment. Our senses are constantly bombarded with stimuli, and when these stimuli become overwhelming or discordant, they can trigger or exacerbate feelings of stress. Conversely, intentionally curating a sensory experience can help to calm an overstimulated nervous system. This might involve creating a calm corner in your home, equipped with soft lighting, comfortable seating, and perhaps a gentle aromatherapy diffuser. It could also involve mindful engagement with specific sensory inputs, such as listening to nature sounds, enjoying the tactile sensation of a soft blanket, or savoring the aroma of calming herbal teas. Now, imagine intentionally creating a ritual around preparing a warm cup of chamomile tea in the evening, focusing on the warmth of the mug, the gentle steam, and the soothing aroma. This simple act, grounded in sensory engagement, can serve as a powerful signal to your nervous system that it's time to wind down. Another vital aspect to consider is the power of intentional transition spaces. In our fast-paced lives, we often move directly from one demanding activity to another without a proper buffer. Our homes can inadvertently reinforce this by lacking clear boundaries between work, rest, and personal time. Creating intentional transition spaces can help signal to our minds and bodies that it's time to shift gears. This could be as simple as a designated entryway where you consciously shed the stresses of the outside world before stepping further into your home, perhaps by taking a few deep breaths or changing into comfortable clothes. It might also involve creating a small, dedicated space for mindful activities, like a meditation cushion by a window or a comfortable chair for reading. Consider the impact of having a small, designated spot by your front door where you consciously pause, take 3 deep breaths, and mentally prepare to transition from the external world to your personal sanctuary. This creates a psychological buffer, preventing the external chaos from immediately invading your inner peace. The role of routine and ritual, particularly those that are home-based and natural, can be a powerful anchor in managing anxiety. When life feels chaotic, establishing predictable patterns can provide a sense of control and stability. These aren't rigid schedules that add pressure, but gentle, comforting rhythms that signal safety and predictability. Think about the morning ritual of enjoying a quiet cup of coffee before the day's demands begin, or the evening practice of winding down with a warm bath. These simple, repeatable actions can become powerful cues for relaxation and self-care, helping to regulate the nervous system and build resilience. Now, picture yourself establishing a gentle evening ritual, dimming the lights, putting on soft music, and engaging in a few minutes of gentle stretching. This consistent pattern acts as a gentle guide, signaling to your body and mind that a period of rest and recovery is imminent, thereby mitigating the buildup of daily stress. Finally, the concept of embodied presence within our homes is crucial. Often, we are physically present in our homes, but our minds are racing with to-do lists or replaying past events. Embodied presence means actively engaging with the present moment, grounding ourselves in our physical sensations and our immediate environment. This can be cultivated through simple practices like mindful eating, where you focus on the taste, texture, and aroma of your food, or through mindful movement, such as gentle yoga or stretching, where you pay attention to the sensations in your body. Consider the transformative effect of consciously focusing on the act of preparing a meal, engaging all your senses, the chopping of vegetables, the sizzle in the pan, the aroma filling the kitchen. This practice pulls you out of anxious rumination and anchors you firmly in the present, fostering a sense of calm and control. This deliberate engagement with the here and now, within the familiar comfort of your home, is a powerful tool for reclaiming peace. The interplay between our internal biological rhythms and the external pressures of daily life creates a complex neurochemical landscape that significantly influences our susceptibility to anxiety and burnout. Beyond the more commonly discussed hormonal cycles, consider the diurnal rhythm, our body's natural 24-hour cycle that governs sleep-wake patterns, hormone release, and other essential physiological functions. Disruptions to this rhythm, often caused by irregular sleep schedules, excessive screen time before bed, or shift work, can profoundly impact our mood and stress resilience. For instance, consistently waking up groggy and disoriented due to a misaligned diurnal rhythm can prime the body for a day of heightened stress reactivity. Consequently, establishing a consistent sleep-wake cycle, even on weekends, becomes a critical, yet often neglected, strategy for bolstering our internal defenses against burnout. Now, think about how intentionally exposing yourself to bright natural light shortly after waking can help reset your internal clock, signaling to your brain that it's time to be alert and engaged, thereby setting a more balanced tone for the day ahead. Furthermore, the physiological mechanism of cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone, offers a fascinating insight into how chronic stress erodes well-being. While cortisol is essential for regulating various bodily functions and responding to acute threats, persistently elevated levels, often seen in burnout, can have detrimental effects. This sustained elevation can disrupt sleep patterns, impair immune function, and even contribute to anxiety by overstimulating the amygdala, the brain's fear center. Conversely, understanding the typical diurnal pattern of cortisol release, higher in the morning and gradually decreasing throughout the day, can inform proactive stress management. For example, engaging in calming activities during the late afternoon and evening, when cortisol levels naturally begin to decline, can facilitate a smoother transition into rest and recovery, preventing the accumulation of stress-induced physiological changes. Building on this, the concept of nervous system dysregulation provides a deeper understanding of the persistent state of anxiety and exhaustion. When the nervous system is perpetually in a state of high alert, it can struggle to return to a baseline of calm. This can manifest as a range of symptoms, from difficulty concentrating and racing thoughts to physical manifestations like muscle tension and digestive issues. The constant low-grade activation drains mental and physical reserves, making it challenging to cope with even minor stressors. Consequently, actively employing techniques that promote parasympathetic nervous system activation, such as deep diaphragmatic breathing or progressive muscle relaxation, becomes crucial for recalibrating this internal system. Now, consider how practicing a simple, slow, abdominal breathing exercise for just 5 minutes before a stressful meeting can help shift your nervous system out of a reactive state and into one of greater calm and focus. Another critical layer to consider is the impact of cognitive overload on our mental resilience. In today's information-saturated world, our brains are constantly processing an overwhelming amount of data from various sources: work emails, social media notifications, news alerts, and personal responsibilities. This relentless cognitive demand can lead to mental fatigue, difficulty focusing, and an increased propensity for anxiety. When our cognitive resources are depleted, our ability to effectively manage stress is significantly compromised. Therefore, implementing strategies to reduce cognitive load, such as setting boundaries around technology use, practicing single tasking, and consciously creating periods of mental downtime, is essential for preventing burnout. The intricate relationship between our gut health and mental well-being, often referred to as the gut-brain axis, is a crucial, yet often overlooked, factor in managing anxiety and burnout. The gut is home to trillions of microorganisms that play a vital role in producing neurotransmitters like serotonin, which significantly influences mood and emotional regulation. When this delicate microbial balance is disrupted, perhaps due to poor diet, chronic stress, or antibiotic use, it can negatively impact brain function and contribute to feelings of anxiety and low mood. Consequently, nurturing a healthy gut microbiome through a diet rich in fermented foods, fiber, and prebiotics can be a powerful, upstream approach to enhancing mental resilience. Now, imagine how incorporating a daily serving of plain yogurt with live active cultures or a small portion of sauerkraut into your meals can begin to support a healthier gut environment, potentially leading to a subtle yet significant improvement in your overall sense of calm and well-being. Finally, the concept of embodied cognition highlights how our physical experiences and movements influence our mental processes and emotional states. This goes beyond simple physical activity and delves into how our posture, gestures, and even our breathing patterns can communicate messages to our brain, shaping our feelings and perceptions. For instance, adopting an open, expansive posture can actually promote feelings of confidence and reduce anxiety, while slumping or withdrawing can reinforce feelings of defeat and overwhelm. Consequently, consciously engaging in power poses, or simply taking a moment to stand tall and breathe deeply, can have a tangible impact on our emotional state. Consider the subtle yet powerful effect of consciously straightening your posture and taking a few deep, deliberate breaths when you feel a wave of anxiety rising. This physical act sends a signal of strength and control to your brain, helping to interrupt the cycle of worry and promote a sense of groundedness. The pervasive nature of anxiety and burnout in modern life often stems from a disconnect with our innate restorative capacities, a disconnect exacerbated by the relentless pace of digital interaction and the erosion of traditional community bonds. Consider the phenomenon of phantom vibrations, or the incessant urge to check notifications. These are symptoms of a deeply ingrained hyperconnectivity that paradoxically leaves us feeling more isolated and depleted. Our nervous systems are not wired for this constant barrage of simulated social interaction, which, while offering connection, often lacks the depth and nuance of in-person relationships, leading to a superficial sense of engagement that fails to truly nourish. Now, think about how the simple act of consciously putting your phone away during meals or dedicating specific tech-free hours each day can begin to reclaim your attention and foster a more genuine connection with yourself and those around you. This deliberate disengagement from the digital hum allows for a recalibration, a return to the present moment where true restoration can begin. Building upon this, the concept of eco-anxiety has emerged as a significant factor contributing to feelings of overwhelm, particularly for women who often bear a disproportionate burden of caring for families and communities. The constant exposure to news about environmental degradation, climate change, and societal instability can trigger a deep-seated sense of helplessness and dread, amplifying existing anxieties. This pervasive awareness of global challenges, coupled with the feeling of personal powerlessness, can be incredibly draining. Conversely, engaging with nature directly, even in small, accessible ways, can act as a potent antidote. The tangible experience of tending to a small garden, observing the resilience of a plant pushing through concrete, or simply feeling the earth beneath your feet can foster a sense of agency and reconnection, reminding us of our intrinsic link to the natural world and its inherent capacity for renewal. Furthermore, the societal narrative that often glorifies busyness and equates productivity with self-worth contributes significantly to burnout. Women, in particular, often feel pressured to excel in multiple domains: career, family, social life, leading to an unsustainable level of demand. This relentless pursuit of external validation can create a chronic state of tension, where rest is perceived as a luxury rather than a necessity. Consequently, actively challenging this narrative and redefining success to include well-being and inner peace is paramount. Now, consider how reframing a quiet evening spent reading or engaging in a calming hobby, not as doing nothing, but as essential recharge time, can fundamentally shift your perception and empower you to prioritize your own restoration. This conscious redefinition is a radical act of self-care in a culture that often undervalues it. Another crucial layer to consider is the impact of sensory deprivation and overstimulation within our urbanized environments. While modern life offers convenience, it often lacks the rich, varied sensory input that nature provides. Conversely, the artificial lights, constant noise, and relentless visual stimuli of urban settings can lead to sensory overload, exhausting our nervous systems. Conversely, intentionally seeking out sensory experiences that mimic natural environments can be incredibly restorative. This might involve listening to the sounds of flowing water, engaging with the textures of natural materials like wood or stone, or even incorporating scents that evoke the outdoors, such as pine or lavender. Think about how creating a small nature corner in your home, perhaps with a small water feature, smooth river stones, and a calming scent diffuser, can offer a localized escape from the sensory chaos of the outside world, providing a pocket of tranquility within your living space. The phenomenon of compassion fatigue, particularly prevalent among women who often occupy caring roles, is another significant contributor to burnout. Witnessing and absorbing the suffering of others, whether through personal relationships, professional duties, or media consumption, can lead to emotional exhaustion and a diminished capacity for empathy. This constant exposure to distress can leave individuals feeling depleted and detached. However, cultivating self-compassion is a powerful countermeasure. This involves extending the same kindness, understanding, and acceptance to oneself that one would offer to a dear friend. Now, imagine consciously acknowledging a moment of personal struggle with the same gentle tone you would use to comfort a loved one. This simple act of self-validation can begin to mend the emotional reserves depleted by constant outward focus. It's about recognizing that you, too, are deserving of care and understanding. The pervasive notion of hustle culture has deeply infiltrated our understanding of productivity, often leading individuals, especially women, to believe that constant activity is the sole path to success and fulfillment. This cultural imperative can foster a deep-seated guilt around rest, framing it as laziness or a lack of ambition. Consequently, even within the supposed sanctuary of home, the internal pressure to be perpetually on can persist, manifesting as an inability to truly switch off and recharge. Consider the subtle ways this manifests: checking work emails during family time, feeling obligated to always be available for calls, or engaging in productive hobbies that feel more like chores than genuine rejuvenation. Now, think about how this relentless drive can create a feedback loop where exhaustion is perceived as a badge of honor, further perpetuating the cycle of burnout. This mentality actively undermines the body's natural need for downtime, leading to a deficit in restorative processes. Building on this, the concept of time scarcity profoundly impacts how women perceive their ability to engage in self-care. The feeling of never having enough hours in the day, often a direct result of juggling multiple responsibilities, can lead to the prioritization of tasks that appear more urgent or externally validated. This often means that activities focused on personal well-being, which may not have immediate, tangible outcomes, are relegated to the bottom of the to-do list. Consequently, the very home environment, which should ideally offer respite, can become another arena where time feels perpetually insufficient, leading to a sense of being overwhelmed and perpetually behind. Conversely, the idea that rest is productive offers a powerful reframing of our relationship with downtime. Instead of viewing rest as an indulgence, it can be understood as a crucial investment in our capacity to perform at our best, both mentally and physically. Periods of true relaxation allow the brain to consolidate information, enhance creativity, and improve problem-solving skills. Furthermore, adequate rest is essential for emotional regulation, reducing irritability and improving our ability to cope with stress. Now, consider how intentionally scheduling non-negotiable rest periods into your week, much like you would a critical work meeting, can begin to shift your perception and prioritize your own recovery. This deliberate allocation of time signals its importance. Another crucial layer to consider is the impact of perfectionism on the experience of anxiety and burnout. The relentless pursuit of flawlessness in all aspects of life, from work projects to household management, can create an unsustainable level of pressure. This often leads to procrastination due to the fear of not meeting one's own impossibly high standards, or conversely, to an exhausting overinvestment of time and energy in minute details. Consequently, the home environment, which might be envisioned as a relaxed space, can become another battleground for achieving an unattainable ideal, further fueling anxiety. The notion of boundary erosion is central to understanding how external demands seep into our personal lives, particularly within the home. When clear distinctions between work, personal time, and family life are blurred, the home loses its capacity to function as a true sanctuary. This can be exacerbated by the constant connectivity afforded by technology, making it difficult to mentally disengage from professional responsibilities. Consequently, the home becomes an extension of the workplace, perpetuating a state of low-grade stress. Now, think about how establishing a physical transition zone at the entrance of your home, a space where you consciously shed the external pressures before fully entering your personal domain, can begin to reinforce these vital boundaries. This creates a psychological buffer. Finally, the impact of unmet needs on our emotional landscape is significant. When our fundamental needs for connection, autonomy, and competence are consistently overlooked or unmet, it can lead to feelings of resentment, frustration, and ultimately burnout. The home environment, while intended to nurture, can sometimes inadvertently highlight these unmet needs if it becomes another space where demands outweigh replenishment. Consequently, a conscious inventory of these core needs and the intentional integration of activities that fulfill them within the home setting is crucial for fostering sustainable well-being. Reflecting on this journey so far, we've navigated the intricate terrain of modern well-being, observing how the relentless pace of our lives has subtly reshaped our internal landscapes and our very relationship with our immediate surroundings. The threads we've unraveled, from the biological underpinnings of stress to the profound influence of our environments, converge to illuminate a more nuanced understanding of resilience. It's akin to observing a complex ecosystem, understanding the delicate balance between its various elements, the soil, the water, the flora, and the fauna, reveals the unseen forces that sustain its vitality. As we pivot towards the final reflection, the growing clarity isn't about arriving at a single definitive destination, but about recognizing the interconnectedness of these elements and how their harmonious interplay can foster a more robust and enduring sense of peace. In light of these insights, the path forward becomes clearer, not as a series of isolated remedies, but as a cohesive approach to cultivating inner equilibrium. The convergence of these explored ideas suggests a fundamental shift in perspective, moving from a reactive stance against external pressures to a proactive cultivation of internal resources. It's about recognizing that the very spaces we inhabit, often perceived as mere backdrops to our busy lives, hold within them the potential for profound restoration. This understanding invites a deeper engagement with our immediate realities, transforming familiar settings into active participants in our journey toward well-being. The cumulative effect of these observations points towards a holistic re-engagement with life, where the external world and our internal experience are not in opposition, but in a dynamic, supportive relationship. Drawing these strands together, we see that the challenges of burnout and anxiety are not insurmountable barriers, but rather indicators guiding us toward a more mindful and integrated way of living. The insights gleaned suggest that true replenishment isn't found in escaping our circumstances, but in transforming our interaction with them. It's about recognizing the subtle yet powerful ways our daily routines, our sensory experiences, and our connection to the natural world can serve as anchors of calm amidst the turbulence. As we move towards our concluding thoughts, the overarching message is one of empowerment, emphasizing that the capacity for profound well-being is not an elusive ideal, but an accessible reality woven into the fabric of our everyday lives and the environments we call home. As we stand at the threshold of this unfolding understanding, the relentless hum of modern life may still resonate, but its power to deplete feels less absolute. We have journeyed through the intricate tapestry of our internal and external worlds, uncovering the profound connections between our biology, our environment, and our emotional equilibrium. The whispers of burnout and anxiety, once deafening, now begin to transform into gentle nudges, guiding us toward a more conscious and restorative existence. This exploration has not been about finding an escape, but about discovering a deeper way of being, right where we are. It is about recognizing that the sanctuary we seek is not a distant destination, but a cultivated space, nurtured within the familiar confines of our homes and the inherent rhythms of nature. The strength to navigate the complexities of our lives is not an external acquisition, but an internal rediscovery, waiting to be unearthed through mindful attention and gentle intention. The true practice begins now, not with grand gestures, but with the quiet revolution of small, consistent choices. It is in the deliberate act of noticing the quality of light filtering through your window, the mindful preparation of a nourishing meal, or the conscious decision to breathe deeply when the world feels overwhelming. These are not mere acts of self-care. They are profound affirmations of your inherent worth and your capacity for resilience. By embracing the restorative power of nature, even in its most accessible forms, and by consciously shaping our homes into havens of peace, we begin to weave a new narrative, one of sustained well-being, where exhaustion gives way to vibrant energy and anxiety dissolves into a profound sense of presence. This is the ongoing art of